I have done a lot of freelance work from 2002 to 2010. I did a lot of projects. I earned a lot of money. In fact, I built a house in 2008 using this freelance money. At least most of the money was from the freelance work. But in 2010, one day I decided I'm not going to do it again. And I stopped everything. It's a hard stop. And I will explain you why I did it and how it helped me to build a good career. Yeah, I'm not trying to say freelancing is bad or good. I'm just trying to explain how things work so that you can make your decisions clearly. I started doing freelancing even before I get to the industry, like before I get a proper job. Back then, it helped me a lot to practice tooling and techniques of how to do things even before I get to the industry. It helped me a lot there. I'm not saying no. In fact, I got some of the job opportunities due to my freelance work. If you look at this freelance work carefully, most of them are pair of hands work. So if you take 10 freelancing opportunities, I would say 8 or 9 out of them, when it comes to you, the work is already defined. Decisions are being made. All you have to do is to handle that pair of hands work, design system or a website. We need this much of pages, and these are the pages that we need to have, or we need to design this mobile application, and these are the screens that we need to have. So most of the time this work is defined. So that's why I say these are pair of hands work. The decisions, the brainy decisions already have taken. I'm not saying that you don't need a brain to do the pair of hands work, but that is not where the money is, people. Just try to understand this story. You are a tiny, teeny piece in this bigger project, and often what you get is the dirty work that they can't do, and you get you get some money, but compared to the money that you could have earned, it's very small. And more often, you don't get the opportunity to practice user experience work, real user experience work in these kind of projects. You don't get to do the researches, and you don't get to do the user testings, brainstorming. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 projects, you don't get this chance. And if you're not doing this kind of work, you will not learn new things. So basically, you are producing more and more work from your skills you already have got. Now, when it comes to a career, a lot of people get this wrong. I can't believe how many people get this wrong, because so many people believe that your salary would depend on the amount of work that you're producing to that company. No, that is not how it happens. I also learned this the hard way. Your salary will be depending on the value that you add to that company. Now, what is this value? Now, company has its goals, and company has its path set where they need to go. The value is the contribution that you give to the company to achieve their goals. Most of the time, these goals are in this direction, like make money, save money, reducing the risks, reducing the overheads, and making things easy for people. So most of the time these goals are in that direction. So how well you contribute to these goals will be the deciding factor of the value that you add into that company. And at the very beginning of your career, this value is, of course, the work that you're producing at the very beginning. But when you go up in the ladder, the company expects more from you. You don't feel it, you don't see it, you think it's the amount of work that you're doing. And that is where a lot of people get wrong. And when I say career, so many people make this mistake as well. They confuse, or they think the career is the designation that is given to you. No, career is not the designation that you're holding. Designation belongs to the company that you're working for. Your career is basically the abilities, what you're capable of doing, what skills you have, and what have you done, and what can you do in the future and the present. So this will define your character, and it will say what you are in the industry. So this is career. In order to build a good career, you need diversified skills. Now, tooling and doing Figma work is one aspect. It's just tiny, teeny aspect of this career thing. And if you are a person who's producing good amount of work at the very beginning, good amount of hands-on work, the decisions will be taken by someone else, and you will produce the work. At the beginning, yes, that's fine. But when you go up, think about the increments that you are getting. You are getting a few increments and your salary is higher, but you are producing the same amount of work. And the company has this brain to do the math. Like, if we fire you, then we can hire 2-3 people for your salary after some time. So think about this. If you, as a UX designer or a UI designer, whatever the designation that you have in the company, and the decisions are not being taken for the product that you're doing, if always there's a BA or a product manager or somebody above you make these decisions and give you the spec to do the designing, that means, my dear friends, you are not doing a very good job as a UX designer. You are a pair of hands. Now think about the money that the company has to pay you, as well as the company has to pay that whoever that person be, or that senior person in the project who makes those decisions, and the company has to pay for too. And if you play your role as a UX designer correctly, then you don't need that person. Then you are the one who drives the project. You are the one who deals with the client, and you are the one who makes those decisions. And you can't do that if you don't have the necessary skills to do it. And you have to gain it by experience. You have to work on it, and you have to prove it that you have the skills. That is the point that you will be given the chance to play this role. Otherwise, you will not be given the chance to prove this. Or you will not be given the chance to do that role. There will always be a person who's above you, makes those decisions. What happens when you do a lot of freelancing, you will be blinded by that money that it gets you, that you think that you are a dude. That happened to me as well, because I often my freelance earning were more than my salary produced me. So I was attracted to that part a lot. And it will blind you from seeing this truth. When you are reaching 30s and 35, you don't have the same energy that you had back in the days, in the early 20s and mid 20s. And when you're reaching 30, that is the age most of the people, gonna get married and think about kids and everything. So you don't have time to learn a lot of new things. And that will drain you out, because everybody has 24 hours per day. And you sleep like 7 or 8 hours a day, and you work for a minimum 8 hours, and sometimes the contracts are like 6 hours. But if you're going physically to your workplace, then the traveling time has to include as well. During these 24 hours, if you spend a lot of time doing freelancing, then you don't have time to learn this art, and you will not have the time to learn these skills which is necessary for you to go up in the career ladder. And actually what happened to me was it drained me out, and I felt so tired. And there were days like I go to office and I do the work, and I come home and I open my laptop and do the freelancing till the morning, and again in the morning I get up and go to office, and it drains me out. And it's not a nice feeling. And sometimes when you have multiple projects, deadlines overlap each other, then it's a scary thing to feel. But I have handled it, and it's not a nice thing, trust me. So what I'm asking you is not to stop freelancing. You have avenues, you have paths. You need to choose which one you need to work. So the first one, it's okay to do freelancing at the very beginning, because at the very beginning it helps you out actually. But at some point you have to draw a line, whether you need to get carried away with this freelancing or you need to focus on your career. One thing that you can do is you can start a business with the contacts you have with the freelance opportunities that you are getting. Or if you are a freelancer, then you know what these opportunities are. Then you can collect all these things and put up your own business. That is also an option. But to run a company, you need business knowledge. It's a different thing than doing doing the actual freelance work. Running a business needs a lot of skills. And if you look at my experience, I have seen people who has They have gone into that business avenue, and they after some time they come back, because running a business is not a simple thing. I'm not saying you can't. There are people who successfully doing it. They have started a freelance career, and at some point, with the connections they had, yes, they have started successful business. That is an option for you. But in my experience, what I have seen is like only a very few people become success at that point. I'm not discouraging you. I'm telling you what I've seen. And the other part is what I took. I stopped doing freelancing and I was focusing on building my career. What it gave me was, the money that I lost from freelancing. And after some time, I got it through my career. I got a few leap steps, leap increments, and voila. I don't feel like I am losing money on freelance side. Furthermore, I got to know a lot of business aspects while working in that capacity as a top UX designer. I had the opportunity to deal with a lot of business people, made professional relationships with them, and learn how these businesses operate and how they have started it and how they are growing it. And I learned a lot of things which helped me to start off my businesses. It's another avenue that you can do. And I've seen some people after some time, using the skills that they have gained through the career, they are doing high-end freelancing. There's something called high-end freelancing. They charge a lot. They are like the elite SWAT team. They're not the normal police. They come in critical situations and they come in, take the control, shoot in, kill the bad guy, handle the situation, and they go out and they get a lot of money in freelance terms in software. Oh, if I give you the numbers, normally if you are doing freelancing for like $20 or $30 hour rate as a normal designer, or even sometimes the money is lesser than that. These high-end freelancers, it is more than $50, $70. Sometimes it's $100 or $150. It depends on the skills that you have and the portfolio that you have. These people earn a lot, do relatively lesser work than a normal freelancer, and earn like double, triple, or even quadruple times than a normal freelancer. But for you to do that, for you to become that high-end freelancer, you need to have skills built into you. And doing normal freelancing work, not saying that is a good idea for you to build these skills. So think about it. I made my choices, and I showed you the opportunities and the paths, the pros and cons that you have in your plate, so you can make a conscious decision to do your career progression. So it's a free world. I don't know whether you like this video or not. I shared my experience because I've seen a lot of people ruin their career, and they feel it when they reach like 35, or even when they're getting closer to 40. That is not a time to do a career shift or to learn new things. I'm not saying you can't, but it's a very difficult period for you to do that. So you have to make your choices in your 20s or mid 20s, ideal. So if you find this helpful, let me know. If you have any concerns, let me know. I will answer. And see you in another video.